Hello and welcome back to my channel. The Ardennes Classics are about to start with the Amstel Gold Race tomorrow, and the Spring Classics are almost over. We just have a few more of these hilly classics that a lot of riders especially train for the whole year, and personally I can't wait. We have quite a few favorites for this race and a pretty diverse field actually, because it is a race other than probably Liège-Bastogne-Liège, or even less, the Flash Wallon. This race suits even more riders, so the spectrum of guys who can actually win it is even wider. So let's begin. The top favorite in my mind has to be Mathieu van der Poel, because actually he convinced me when he won the he actually convinced me with his victory over Alaphilippe over the week, because he just simply outsprinted him. He took the sprint from the front and it looked so easy to him. And this again at the Amstel Gold Race this year, we have a flat finish. The last 7 kilometers are flat. And that means if he can survive the Cauberg 3 times with Alaphilippe and guys like that, then he is the guy to beat when they go to the line. So yes, this is his first season with so many races on the road, but he has already won 5 of them after a hard cyclocross season, after he won a lot of races in the summer on his mountain bike. So this guy is basically on form for like 20 months straight. If I remember correctly, it took a little break in the fall, but other than that, he's been winning races for quite some time now, all over the place, in the dirt, on the road. Does not matter to this guy. What a talent he is. And yeah, he has to be considered the top favorite for me. Then at the second spot, I'll take Alaphilippe and Gilbert, the duo of the Koenig Quickstep, because Alaphilippe as a whole, probably at the moment the best one-day racer there is at the moment. Not if we look at the Palmares in total or anything like that, but if we take riders at their peak right now, I would say the best one-day rider of this peloton currently is Julian Alaphilippe. He has shown at Strade Bianche that he can win on those races. He has won Sanremo, has always good placings in the Ardennes. So yeah, why not him? Amstel is actually the race where he had his worst results. His best result, I think, was so far a 4th place, if I remember that correctly on the top of my head. I'm not quite sure. But his teammate Philippe Gilbert, even though he had a transformation over the last few years where he went from being one of the best hilly classics riders, from the best Ardennes riders, he went to a cobbled classics specialist. So I don't know if he still has it in him to be one of the top guys. He still has won this race 4 times, and there's only one guy who has won it more times, and that is Jan Raas, who has won it 5 times in his career. So maybe Gilbert will look to actually taking the win record for the Amstel Gold Race, one of his favorite races of the past and probably still currently. He should never be discounted. I made that mistake before, that I said Gilbert is done and he can't do it anymore, but yeah, with his Paris-Roubaix victory, right now, I think this guy can do anything. Whatever goals he sets for himself, he has a decent shot of achieving them. So that is a really strong team that the Koenig sent with their 2 leaders. Probably not the best team as a whole, but the 2 best leaders, let's say it that way. Then 3rd place I have Kwiatkowski, who won this race in 2015. I don't know how much the crash he had at Itzulia affected him. It did not affect Alaphilippe too bad. Like I said, he was 2nd of the week. at the Brabantse Pijl. So we'll have to see what Kwiatkowski can do, but if he's fit, then I think another podium is quite possible for a rider like him. Then on my list, I have Michael Matthews and sprinters like him. You could also name a guy like Trentin, or who do also we have? Yeah, Trentin has also Impi and Albacini on his team who can sprint, but yeah, guys like that, because like I said, it is a flat finish, and if they survive the hills before that, then they have a decent shot at taking the victory. It's not a given that they will survive, but Michael Matthews has shown over the years that he gets over little climbs quite well. His classic season so far has also been very decent. He has only ridden 4 one-day races, but his worst result is 12th place. So he is on point at the moment. So just like Trentin has a lot of top 10s. He has also a few victories in stage races as an actual sprinter, but in the classics, he has a few good placings. Just the win is missing, and maybe Trentin can hold his form over the cobbles, over to this race also. And talking of cobbled riders and sprinters, that brings me to Peter Sagan, who has decent results over the spring, just not up to his personal standard. We expected more from him on the cobblestones. He looked tired, especially at Paris-Roubaix in the last 5 kilometers. Now you might say, well, it's only 5 kilometers, and this race is quite a bit shorter than that, for one. And the second thing is, his main goal of the season seems to be Liège-Bastogne-Liège and not Paris-Roubaix. And if his form is going upwards and the results were also decent enough to get him top 10s on the cobbles, then I might think he is worth a consideration for Amstel and the other Ardennes Classics. So keep that in mind. And yeah, Sagan as a cobbled rider, usually when you think about him as a sprinter or a cobbled rider, there will also be a few other contenders from the cobbled classics who did not end their spring campaign right after Roubaix. And those guys also have a decent shot. That's what I meant when I said the spectrum of riders who can take the victory here is wider, because we have a flat finish, and if they attack over one of the hills and get a gap, they can time trial to the finish line. We have guys like Ollie Larsen, Greg van Avermaet, Wout van Aert. They're all present here at this race. Very interesting to see. I think they have a decent shot, but their main problem will be they have to shake the faster guys to the line than them. Not that Van Avermaet is slow, but I think he is slower than a guy like Trentin or Matthews. And I don't know if he's faster than Alaphilippe. I think, in my opinion, they're about the same level in a sprint. And some of the other sprint guys, cobbled guys, there we have already seen this season that they are slower than Alaphilippe. He beat Larsen at Sanremo, and Van Aert might even be the slowest sprinter of that group of cobbled riders. But still, you shouldn't count them out. They have the engine to win this race. Maybe not the sprint, but if they can shake the other guys, if they can get rid of them over one of the Kaubergs that they will ride 3 times this season, maybe it is possible for them. And then I have quite a few guys who I also think are worth mentioning. On the top of my list of those guys is actually Valverde, who, funny enough, has never ever in his career taken victory at the Amstel Gold Race. It is one of those races that does not perfectly suit him. Like I said, it was either that he took guys who are faster in the sprint with him to the line, or he just, I don't know. This does not seem to be his race. He has won the other Tour Dance Classics, but this has eluded him so far. Maybe with the rainbow stripes this season he can take the actual victory. Like I said before, Kwiatkowski did so in 2015. He won the Amstel Gold Race with the rainbow stripes. Maybe that is something that also Valverde could achieve. Right now I have a hard time seeing it because I don't think that he is faster than Alaphilippe or Kwiatkowski could be a stretch in a flat sprint. Uphill he still has it, I think. And we will see that at Flash Wallon especially. That is basically his race most of the time. Yeah, last year he was beaten, but usually that is his race. But the comeback is a different story. The Amstel Gold Race is a little bit different. So far no Valverde win, so I can't put him at the top of my contenders list, but he's still up there, somewhere near the top favorites. And then we have a few of the past winners also, guys like Enrico Gasparotto, who took the victory twice, once in 2012 and then again in 2016. Yes, he's already 37, but he has shown that this race suits him, and if he finds his legs for one more time, why not him? Another winner is Kreuziger, who won the race in 15. Was it 15? When did he win? Kreuziger, when did he win? I'm not, no, 15 was Kwiatkowski. When did Kreuziger win? I can't remember on the top of my head, but I have Kreuziger as a former winner in my mind. That guy could actually do well. His form so far has not been the best, but I won't discount him also. And then lastly, I want to mention the Astana squad. Once again, they sent a ridiculous team of riders. Of the 7 riders, no joke, I could once again see 6 guys taking the victory. The only guy where I know that he will be riding at the front, reeling in breakaways, fetching water bottles is Laurens de Frese, but the other 6 guys. Let's look at the names. The captain will probably be Lutsenko for this one-day race, but they also have Omar Freile, Jakob Fuglsang, Jan and Gorka Izagirre, and also Luis Leon Sanchez. Those are 6 riders at least capable of pulling off a victory in the Amstel Gold Race, especially if they ride like it is often the case on the cobbles with De Koning, that they send 1 or 2 guys up the road, other teams have to chase, and then they attack again. I said that in my previous video that Astana races since last year, and especially this year, very similar to De Koning, but just different races. So that they have the riders for hilly races, for mountainous races, and this is one of those races. And Astana, we've seen it at Itzulia, they absolutely crushed Bora at the last stage of that race. It was brutal to watch how Bora did not have an answer. They were just not strong enough. All their 3 riders, be it Buchmann, Schachmann or Conrad, all 3 struggled, while especially Fuglsang and Jan Izagirre, they looked so far superior than the team of Bora Hansgrohe. Really, really strong squad they sent once again, and that makes it dangerous. Except probably Lutsenko, I wouldn't put any of them as an individual rider for every other team on the top of my list. But because they have 6 strong riders, they can play the numbers game. They can attack as a team over and over. And sometimes that makes a not so strong individual rider become actually a threat for the race, because he can say in a breakaway, hey, I have guys behind, I don't have to work. So he's fresh as a daisy at the end and can out sprint them. Or if he is gone alone and the other teams are spent because they had to chase 3 of his teammates before that, he gets a good gap. We've seen that over and over with this team this season and also last season. We've seen it over the years with the Koenig Quickstep. Astana adapted, and they are a close second at the moment in the victory department for the year, only trailing, well, the Koenig Quickstep. Who else? So yeah, Astana is an interesting team to watch because of the team dynamics they offer for the Amstel Gold Race. That's it for me for today. I'm out.